Hello everyone, John here with Ready Player Movies and welcome back to a brand new video. So in one of my previous videos I went through all of my wrestling bio DVDs that I had, and I said that I was going to follow up on a couple more which involved doing a top 5 and also doing a feature on the Ultimate Warrior, which were the three DVD and Blu-rays that I showed you in at the back end of that first video. To which I'm also very grateful for you guys watching the video as well. Thank you so much. It's been great seeing the retention that the video's been getting in the last few days, and I'm so grateful, really, really, really. Um, so let's get on to this and go into my top 10. Yes, I said top 10, and probably did see in the thumbnail as well. Yes, so I decided that I was going to throw in some honorable mentions um, before I got into my top 5, but that kind of took it up to 8. So that kind of took it up to 8 DVDs. So I thought, why not just round it up and make it a full top 10 list? So it's going to be, some of these are going to be quite unexpected for you everyone. I mean, considering what I've already shown you, this top 10 is going to be a little different. This top 10 is going to be maybe a little different to what other people have done. I really do not know. I've not done any research into other people doing these or what. I really have no idea. But anyway, let's go down to this, guys. And coming in at number 10, we have Diamond Dallas Page, Positively Living. Now, as much as I like Diamond Dallas as a wrestler and as a person, um, well, before I go into the formalities, my top 10 is just based on overall present. It is based on the superstar, obviously, but there are some other contributing factors to this, and that being sort of the an overall presentation of the bio and DVD in question. So, with that being said, this comes in at the top 10 basically because it just isn't for me. Like I said, with it being a ranking, it doesn't quite have that impact like the latter part of this top 10 actually has on me. So that's basically why is at number 10. But that doesn't mean to say that it's a bad one, really. So next up, coming in at number 9, we have Sting Into the Light. Again, like I said, this is just based on who I prefer, on which ones I do prefer to watch, ones that I can go back to time and time again. So Sting Into the Light comes in at number 9. Number 8, sadly, is Heart of Gold, the Owen Hart story. Now, it was so tragic the way that Owen passed away, and condolences to the Hart family for everything that happened, including the incident and the events and what sort of happened afterwards around the time in those first 12 months. But yeah, Owen Hart is my number 8 choice, and a very good man as well was Owen. Number 7 might surprise a few people. The History of the Undertaker. Now, this one was kind of at the back. This particular one was kind of at the back end of when they started separating the biography from the matches, if that makes sense. As I said in that first video, there was a couple of ones within that within what I showed you that had that snippet match format, and this was one of the last ones that did it. Um, so with that being said, that's why this one comes in at num basically why it comes in at number 7. But nonetheless, the Undertaker is a phenomenal character. And was amazing for pro wrestling in general, as well as being one of the top wrestlers within his craft. So like I say, Undertaker number 7. Number 6 is Thy Kingdom Come. Triple H. Triple H himself, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. What other names did he? I can't remember the other names that he had. But anyway, yeah, I'm sure you can tell me. I'm sure you can tell me in the comments which other names he went by. I know I can somewhat remember them, but don't ask me to tell. Don't ask me to say them in case I get them wrong, which might trigger people. That kind of thing. Whatever. I know my generation that will be watching this will say, "What the hell are you talking about, man?" Yeah, I won't do that. But you never know. Anyway, yeah. Triple H, Thy Kingdom Come at number 6. I'm counting backwards. That's why I can't get. That's why I can't get. That's why I can't get it straight. I'm not that. I'm not that thick, really. I'm just having a senior moment. The Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom themselves, with Paul Ellering as their manager. I remembered in the end, and this is actually my third go at doing this video because I'm doing it with two 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 different with two audio dealing with two audios. The last one that I did, the microphone kept cutting out, so I tried stitching it and it just wasn't working out at all. But anyway, yeah, the Road Warriors 2-disc set. This is a great day. This is a great documentary. I really enjoy it. One of those, like I said before, I can go back to this numerous times and still be entertained by it. So yeah, that's the Road Warriors at number 5. Now then, coming in at number 4, you might be quite surprised at this one because I'm actually documenting him in in somewhat the next video in the follow up to what I'm doing here, and that is the Ultimate Warrior. Always Believe. Now we were given the fact that he did have his issues with pro wrestling, and pro wrestling had issues with him as well. It's safe to say that that James pretty much changed the way at the time that he came into it. He kind of changed the game as to what a wrestler should look like in the ring, as opposed to what, in terms of physique, I should say, for the time. I mean, you didn't really see a Hawkingly um, bulked wrestler back in that day. When you look at the likes of Hulk Hogan, he didn't have the same physique that the Ultimate Warrior did. He was a pure bodybuilder in a wrestling ring, and so it kind of changed that dynamic of the overall superstar look, going into sort of like the mid 90s through to the kind of the early noughties, from 95 to from 1990 or whenever he came into it. I think it was 1990, up until maybe 2005 or something like that. Everybody else that came into it during that period were all completely jacked. So yeah, he pretty much set that standard. So yeah, he comes in at number 4, and it's a brilliant biography. Really very well produced, and deserves to be in the top 5. It should have been higher, and it was a very difficult choice to make. And I mean, it was a difficult choice to make because he is one of those wrestlers that is close to um, rather close to the heart. At number 3, the man, the myth, and the legend, Vince McMahon. Now, say what you want about this man. This guy's a genius. From the days that he took over from his dad, he basically built an empire and a franchise within what 20 years of taking over. You know, you just you can't really you can't really put to words the commitment that Vince had to making his dad's business into the franchise that it is now. It's just insane. It really is. Given the fact that they've sort of sold everything off to I can't remember what the firm is now that has the UFC and uh, that has the UFC the thing and that. But it's Vince himself is one of those people you either love him or you hate him. I'm one of these people that's sort of in the middle, that is kind of in the middle as to whether I like him or not. But he definitely made an impression on the wrestling world, and that's why he comes in at number 3. So yeah, you could kind of say that I'm giving like a kind of a separate opinion on my choices in this top 10. Yeah, kind of eating my words right now. Anyway, coming in at number 2 should be really. I'm saying it's no surprise because the people that are watching this video don't really know me. But given the fact that I did quite a bit of sugarcoating in that first in that bios video, I think you might already know this is going to be at number 2, and that is Mankind. Yeah, for all mankind. Uh, the life and career of Mick Foley. I should really say it's actually the actual title is the life and career of Mick Foley for all mankind. Yeah, Mick Foley to me is just an absolute legend, a legend of wrestling in general. From his days in ECW and a very very short stint in WCW as well, which I didn't actually know about, to coming into the WWE as Mankind. He was pretty much an enigma when I first saw him in the WWE at the time they did come, because I didn't know anything about him at that point. I did a little bit more research the more I knew about him through the internet and that, and then I found the WCW stuff. I thought, Jesus, he was in the WCW. Wow, that was amazing, you know, because that was the promotion that I watched the most when I was younger. I wasn't really a WWE fan until the latter end of the 1990s. But yeah, Mick Foley to me is kind of like my guardian angel, really. To be honest, I absolutely love this guy. Why he's not at number 1, I don't know. I really don't. But anyway, yeah, Mick Foley, my guy. Think yourself honoured. You're at my number 2 list, which means my number 1 could be very controversial because not many people like this dude. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy is Paul Heyman. Yeah, I know he's not exactly a super. I know he is not exactly a wrestling superstar, but this guy made one hell of a mark in 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 wrestling as much as Vince McMahon. Um, Given the fact that he pretty much founded ECW, and then eventually went on to becoming one of the biggest superstar managers in the business, really, from and more or less from blagging it. When I say blagging it, said, "Yeah, I can do this job," and that's exactly what he set out and did, without having any prior knowledge into the field. He just went straight into it with not knowing anything about it, and look where he is now. It's just incredible. I mean, it's hats off to him that he's actually done that. He's come up from that. He came up from not knowing anything about the industry to having probably the best knowledge that you could have in the field. I mean, Vince was brought up around it, with his dad owning the business that he has now. Paul Heyman, not so much. Editor John here, and I just thought I would make a bit of clarification on something that I said there. While saying clarification, I think it was more of a little blunder on my part. I'm sure there's a few of you that were actually questioning something that I actually said there, so I am going to correct it. Um, with the Paul Heyman, the Paul Heyman bio. Um, he did have somewhat knowledge of the industry, but it was more based from a fan's perspective. It like not so much the business side of it, like Vince did. As I said in the actual video, Paul had more of a fan's perspective on the industry, which is why he decided that he would, as I said, blag his way into getting a job for the WE. Or I think it may have been the WWF, I think it was at the time. So yeah, from there he developed his career and went off and started up ECW, and things sort of skyrocketed, and things sort of went from there. So it's it's all documented. It is all in there. It really is worth it. If you haven't seen it, I really do recommend you do, because it's one of the best. It's one of the best bios out there on the market. So that being said, guys, let's get back to it. In that was shocking. So he's done it on his own, without any real, I wouldn't say no guidance, but he's done it with very much a lot of gusto and a lot of balls, really. So that's probably why he makes my number one, because he's just one of those people you can really that you can really get behind. He's a working man, very much so a working man, just like the likes of Mick Foley and Vince. My top. These are my top three, and I've got, it just is what it is. But yeah, Paul Heyman is my number one choice. Is my number one out of the wrestling bios. So with that being said, guys, that comes to the end of it. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, everyone. Like I say, the I'm actually going to put this out to the other the other demographic that have been tuning in to my John Carpenter's The Thing video as well. You probably won't be watching this, but if any of you are that did watch that, honestly, words cannot describe how happy I am with everything that's happening, with everything that's sort of gone on around that. I'm so humbled and I mean, it just seems to be getting better and better. I mean, obviously, I'm only a small channel, but still, to see numbers like that is just incredible. And I'm so appreciative of it as well. I mean, I've been doing this since 2017, and not really had an awful lot to show for it, to be honest, because I've been in and out of making videos for a number of years. I had a year's sabbatical because of burnout, because what you could call burnout. Um, so yeah, doing this and coming across all of this that's happening now is just amazing. It really is. So thank you so much, everyone. So with that being said, guys, um, if you did like the video and you do want to see more of, I wouldn't necessarily say this type of video, but stuff involving media in general. Well, saying in general, um, aside more with movies more than I do TV, but um, if you do want to see more of this, just give me a like, comment down below, tell me your thoughts on my top 10, tell me your top 10 bios as well. If there's any there that I don't have, please let me know. It'd be absolutely great to hear from you, really would. And if you want, you can also share it about. You don't have to do any of them. You don't even have to subscribe if you don't want to. That's not a problem. Like I say, I'm only small and I'm not asking anybody to do anything. So with that being said, guys, thank you again. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.